Good morning. Thought I would wake you all up a little bit. It's so nice to be here. I'm going to speak a little bit. I've been in India, and I'm very lucky to be here. It's a wonderful place to live for someone like myself. So the people and the food, I always joke with my staff about how much chapati I've eaten since I moved here about a year ago. So I'm in and out of India. I live currently in the Mumbai area, but have traveled around. My perspective is going to be what international education looks like, embracing technology, and what a 21st century classroom would look like. I'm not here to compare what Indian education is doing versus international education. I just want to give you my perspective. I will say though, I've had an opportunity to meet over 300 families who have children from grade 4 to grade 10, 11, 12, currently studying in India, some studying abroad. So I do have an understanding of maybe some of the frustrations, concerns, and certainly some of the positives that they bring to me when I have these conversations. So I'm the head of Corvus American Academy, and I'm just going to give you some context so you understand where I'm coming from. My organization, and with the assistance of obviously American partner and Indian investor and founder, we are building the first American curriculum boarding school in Maharashtra in India. And the reason that, thank you, the reason that I want to give you that context is because you'll understand what I'm talking about when I talk about 21st century education, 21st century classroom. So I'm going to talk about Corvus and what Corvus will look like. We're opening in September 2020, and I'll give you some context and the realities of what the classroom will look like. So we talk about technology, and generally, both when I've worked in Canada, I've been in the US, I've been in China, in Japan, in Korea, Sweden, Finland. What generally happens with technology is there's a sense of fear. And we feel as educators that technology controls the classroom and controls us. And I heard the panel discussion this morning. So we really have two choices. We either fight it and we ban cell phones and mobiles in the classroom, we punish kids and confiscate their phones, or we embrace it and we use it as a tool to actually educate children. So for example, some of our classroom activities would be on literacy in Instagram. So write an Instagram post that expresses your knowledge or your excitement about an activity you did with your parents on the weekend, or your experience at the gymkhana, playing tennis, or your acting class, or whatever it might be, or your time at the excursion with your friends on the weekend. So why are we so afraid? And it's a really tough question to answer, but until we realize that, and I like the term a native technologist or an immigrant technologist. I've actually never heard that, and it's brilliant, really. And most of us are immigrant technologists in this sort of generation. The leaders of the schools are generally that because of age and stage. So we have to look to our teachers and the students to be able to identify that we need to embrace this. So I'll give you an example. What we would do in an international classroom is we would walk into the classroom and we would say to the children, you need to build a robot that is powered by solar and it will move independently 30 centimeters. Go. That is thinking inquiry, application-based education. That is 21st century education. You provide the children with the tools to be able to demonstrate their learning. And the best way to learn is by doing. So the days of handing out textbooks and going page 1 to 20 and answer questions 4 to 7, that is not international education today, anywhere in the world. So that's the concept and that's the idea behind American education, American curriculum, and Corvus, what we would be delivering. The difference is also is that we encourage children to pursue their passion equally. So at Corvus, we actually focus on student athletes. So if you're not an athlete, you can't be entered and admitted to Corvus. There are schools that are for artists. There are schools that are for actors, actresses, for scientists. Science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM is huge in the world. And there are specific programs in schools that cater to those children. Why are we saying that education is the only focus, right? And I hear this from parents. The board exam, grade 10, They must stop everything when they hit 9th standard. Now they have to do tuitions, now they have to study 12 hours a day. Forget tennis, forget acting, forget anything else, you must do this. In international education, we use this passion for sport, for the arts, to build and encourage and nourish the whole child. We fully harmonize both together. You know, there's over 300 boarding schools, 300 in the US, 300 in Canada, 250 in Australia, UK. Everywhere in the world, children are doing both every single day. They're not just studying. You know, when you apply to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, there's a lot of very bright kids in the world, but the reality is that they want you to do something else. What else can you do? Have you invented something? Are you part of Model United Nations? Are you an athlete? These are the things that are about a fully encompassing education. And that's what I believe, and that's what we believe. And my travels, we believe that a true education is not just being able to study and write a pencil and paper test. It's about the learning, the process, and all of that that goes into it. I mean, I've worked with kids who have competed at the Olympics. Those kids were gone for a month at a time. They were not in class for 1 month. If we had an inflexible, stringent, strict education system, those children would fail. Now they're competing and they're studying at top universities in the US, and they're doing very well. They're playing sport, and they're also going to be a doctor. So this is international education. That's what Corvus is about. And I hope that I've brought a little perspective as to what we're doing and what we believe in, and you know, maybe some of the things that can be adapted with your schools and with your systems. So I see time's up. I like to talk about it. I'm very passionate. So have a great day, and thank you for having me here today.